Have you ever thought that the way to take care of yourself is to give yourself whatever you want, whenever you want it, to immediately pacify any feelings of discomfort, and to dismiss your responsibilities, and to cut off anyone who holds you accountable to a higher standard of behavior? Welcome or welcome back. My name is Dr. JP. I am a doctor of psychology, and today I'm going to talk about the difference between self-care and other things that masquerade as self-care. There are a lot of things that we label as self-care when actually they don't qualify as self-care at all, like taking a bubble bath, exercising, booking a trip, eating ice cream, or buying a pair of shoes. Let's take a look at 4 examples of self-care versus its counterfeit counterpart. One example of this is rewarding yourself versus sabotaging yourself. So maybe you worked hard on a project for days, weeks, or months, and you decide to give yourself a break. That would be good. That's self-care. But if your break turns into procrastination and you find yourself abandoning the project altogether when it's actually something meaningful to you, something that you desire, have the ability, energy, and resources to complete, that's self-sabotage, not self-care. Or maybe your break is shorter. You decide to watch a movie at the end of a workday, but instead of watching the movie and going to bed at a reasonable time, you end up binging on movies all night and feeling horrible the next day. This is self-sabotage. If you want me to talk more in depth about self-sabotage, let me know in the comments below. Another example is connecting versus distracting. This often happens when there's an undesirable task to complete and you're feeling overwhelmed. Self-care would look like praying about it, asking for help from a trustworthy resource, journaling to process your feelings, taking a deep breath, a walk, or a nap, and then tackling whatever the thing is. Distraction, on the other hand, might look like mindlessly scrolling through social media for hours, binging on videos, or even doing something else that's productive but not actually the thing that you need to address. The third example is self-soothing versus avoidance. If you're experiencing negative thoughts or feelings, or find yourself in a difficult circumstance, because that's life and it happens, it might deteriorate your mood. So you decide to treat yourself. You decide you want a dessert, which is fine, but if instead of eating 1 donut you consume 2 dozen in one sitting and trigger your gluten intolerance, or you reconnect with your toxic ex or problematic friends, you end up with more issues than you started with. It's a thing that humans do. In response to distress, they often seek an escape in the form of avoidance or numbing. For many, common vices have included drugs, alcohol, shopping, technology, and even food. Even something like exercise can be harmful when we misuse it. In the long run, consistently repressing your difficult emotions could further impact your well-being, your relationships, and your ability to actually practice healthy self-care. The fourth example is self-discipline versus perfectionism. You've committed to working with a new fitness trainer, but you get sick. You go anyway. You make the drive, you arrive sweating, sneezing, coughing. Not only are you being no good to yourself, now everyone's side-eyeing you and wondering if you're a perpetuator of the pandemonium. Although self-care is often self-discipline, doing what you must, even when you lack the motivation, there's a time, a place, and an appropriate boundary for everything. It's not self-care to ignore your body's warning signs or to put the well-being of others at risk. Self-care includes flexibility as you move toward goals, while perfectionism is an all or nothing, no days off, unforgiving, unrealistic mindset. If you recognize yourself practicing self-sabotage, distraction, avoidance, or perfectionism instead of actual self-care, be compassionate enough with yourself to hold yourself accountable. Allow a trustworthy person or people to hold you accountable. This might be a therapist, spouse, or relative. Set a guideline for yourself and decide how you will move forward and ask for support when you need it. Splurging on a pair of shoes as a reward in the name of self-care is not self-care when it means that you're sabotaging your ability to pay your bills. Taking a bubble bath and doing face masks instead of having the difficult conversation, or going to the doctor's office for those concerning symptoms you've been experiencing for the past year is not self-care. Working when you should be resting, or napping when you're not tired, only avoiding the work it takes to make goals into reality is not self-care. The bottom line is that self-care is about setting up a system that supports your long-term growth and well-being. It should include practices that align with your core beliefs and values, spark joy, and bring structure to your life. Self-care is not reactive, it's proactive. If you'd like to learn more about self-care, let me know in the comments below. If you have any questions about anything in this video, let me know and maybe I'll make another video. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Take care.